Hey, what's going on, everyone? This your boy Freeze hanging out in the Deceptor Lab. And today I kind of want to start a new segment. And I want to start a segment about unpopular opinions that I might have regarding the game. And so today, what I want to actually talk about is the addition of the third research slot to Transformers Earth Wars. Hasn't happened yet, but Space Ape did announce it during their last live stream. And I honestly think that there's some potential here for this third research slot to do more harm than good. So I got three reasons I want to share with you, and I will share them with you when I get back. Give me a second to set up, and we'll talk about it. All right, and I'm back. And so today, like I said, we're going to talk about that third research slot that's coming to the game. It's supposed to be coming in this Thursday, according to the Space Ape live stream last week. And honestly, man, it sounds like a good idea. Lots of players have been asking for it for several months now, and this is one of the times that I feel like, hey, Space Ape is actually listening to their players and giving them what they want. But I don't think that this is gonna be exactly. It's gonna go exactly the way that we think it's gonna go. I think that it's gonna be a little bit more complex than we think, and so I'll just get into it. I'm gonna go ahead and get into the three reasons why I think that we need to we don't need this research lab slot. And so the first one is gonna be the cost. So during this Space Ape stream, and I think I heard that part correctly, that we're talking about it's going to be a high cost. They were talking somewhere in the neighborhood of like approximately 2 million Z Energon to unlock this third slot. And so that was alarming for me because it's going to be one of those areas where top players have access to this kind of content. It's going to be a little bit more difficult for some of the lower level players or mid tier players. Just because, honestly, man, you need your Z Energon for other stuff, and it's hard to come by. Like, everybody that's in a really, really good war alliance, they they have Z Energon. They're winning their wars, and for the most part, they probably got a lot of good solo bots that you can go use for elimination mode to go Z farming. And I will say one of the other things that Space Ape did mention during their live stream is that we're gonna have Z farming, elimination mode is gonna be available, you know, 7 days a week. So that's gonna be good. I mean, I imagine they're gonna have a short brief pause for the reset, but we'll see how that goes. That's coming next Thursday as well, after the content push. But at the same time, Z Energon is not abundant enough. It's like the things that mid tier players and some of the lower levels are going to lose out on. They're losing out on opportunities to get level 61s. They're looking at losing out on opportunities to get ability 11s in some cases, which that softens the blow that now a lot of these things are available through the cyber pass. But at the end of the day, I feel like that's slowing anybody except for the elite, except for the very, very top, is slowing their progress down to a certain extent while accelerating the progress of players who already have the top bots, the meta bots, and everything like that. And so I think the cost is probably going to be too high based off of the way they're talking about it. Not to mention that the last time that they did this, I mean, I think the cutoff for when they made it the second research slot was, I think it was HQ 14, and it took a lot of players. It took a while to save up some of those resources to get that second slot. Um, yeah, so man, that's just one of the areas that I'm looking at. As I think that cost is going to be a little bit overwhelming. And I think it caters a little bit more to the elite than the rest of the player base. All right, the second reason that I got is going to be, and kind of along the same lines, those top players are gonna hoard 5-star crystals a lot, And it doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but I'll break it down into this scenario. So say you're a top player and these last two leaderboards, you got these leaderboard bots as 5 stars, because now that's a thing that we do, which I wholeheartedly agree with. But Space Ape also announced during their stream that it's only going to be 5 bots in this batch. So if you were one of those top teams and you've already got one, maybe both of those 5-star bots, now you only got 3 left that you got to get out of this batch. And now when you go hoard your crystals, because let's be honest, and I'll share a scenario that I saw earlier in the week. I saw a top player open up 3 5-star crystals, and the reason for that is that, hey, you get to a certain point in the game, your team's pretty well set. It takes Space Ape a long time to try to adjust war effects or just the war rework that they got going on right now. And so you spend months at a time just, hey, I can just keep using this team or these particular bots, and without any real need to change your bots. And that's essentially what they've been complaining about when they were saying that the wars are too easy. So that happens, and so I see a top player pull these 3 5-star crystals, searching for specific bots so they can try to go address team needs for certain things that they have in their wars, which perfectly okay with that. But now I'm noticing a pattern that with the current batch of 5-star bots, for example. Let me pull them up on the screen real quick so you guys can see the same thing I'm seeing. And just give me a moment. And so here's one of those. This is the current 5-star batch. And one of the things I've noticed is that, so with the current 5-star batch, we have 3 of these bots. So we got up for ability 11 right now. And so I want to say these bots came out. This was around the time that I made my very first video, so somewhere around December. But Blitzwing, Run Amok, and Ripper Snapper are all getting ability 11s in this upcoming batch. And so it seems to me like there's a deliberate move when I look at some of the things Space Ape was saying leading up to the ability 11s. They were saying that they wanted to make sure every single one was a 5-star that they gave an ability 11 to, which is understandable because nobody wants to go put a lot of emphasis into something that's a 4-star bot and anything like that. But I do feel like that has a direct influence on the meta, because now when you open up a new batch, and there's been this huge push to make each batch better than the last batch, then you have to look around and say, okay, well, if you got players that have their team set, and if you make the new batch enticing to them, then there's a good possibility that they just go in there and they get every single bot in this upcoming batch, whatever that's going to be. Particularly when you're looking around at the possibility of, 5-star combiner pieces being part of the batch, or what, something that's gonna help them in their game long term. So I think we've made, in another unpopular opinion I have, but I think we made some of these batches a little too attractive, and just because there's not always a lot of bad bots in these batches. I personally, I think there should usually be at least one. And this last one, a lot of people didn't want Headstrong, and on the Autobot side, everybody was saying, I don't want Pipes out of this batch, and that was the deterrent for some people. And I think that's okay, honestly. But now with the combiner piece aspect of it, some people may be more encouraged, and it just depends really on how Space Ape wants to go about it. Are they gonna make us have, an entire combiner team of 5-star parts, 5-star bots, excuse me? Who knows? So we'll see. But I think the crystal hoarding is gonna put top players in a position where they're just gonna get all 3 of the additional, all 5 of the bots. They probably already have 2. And then they're going to go in there and get those, and they're going to upgrade all of them at the same time. Kind of pushing them a little bit further. And the last thing, and I kind of already touched on this about, is the third thing I want to talk about is the the high criteria that we're gonna have for. So, like I said earlier, when we had like the second slot, you had to be HQ14. I can only imagine that this go around is gonna have an even higher criteria, and so I'm curious about that. I'm skeptical about that to see who our target audience is for this, because honestly, I could see having like a lot of research slots for lower level players. Like I remember there was a point in time when I was like a HQ13, HQ14, and I was like, man, I've got this really big backlog of bots sitting in the research lab. But I don't think this particular upgrade is really going to be targeted at those. And if it is targeted at this particular group of people, they're going to be losing out in other areas. Like I said, ability 11s, level 61s, those things. They're going to be saying, well, I need to save up for my research slot. So I don't know, man. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good concept overall. I just don't think that the result is going to be. I don't think that the result that we think we're going to have is going to be the one that we actually get. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. And a lot of times we talk about a lot of this stuff on Discord as well. So if you're not in my Discord group, and you're not on that server, I will leave the link for that in this section in the video. It's in the about section of my channel, but it'll also be in the description in this video. Lots of good topics that we talk about in there. And other than that, let me know what you think. And if you like my content, go ahead, and subscribe if you're not a subscriber already. It's going to be a lot of big stuff that we're going to be talking about on this channel in the next couple of weeks. So, keep staying tuned. And other than that, that's all I got for you guys today. And I will see you guys on the battlefield. Freezy is out.